guys, welcome back to my channel. I look so pale. I look like a vampire. I know it is winter time. Yeah, I'm just really pale. Anyways, in my video today, I thought that I would go ahead and show you guys all of the geckos I have and how I feed them. So I do have a few different geckos. As of right now, I do have 2 leopard geckos. I have Sushi and Pepper. I have an African fat-tailed gecko, Daisy. I have a standing stay gecko, Mark. I have a gargoyle gecko, Derek, a crested gecko, Dorito. I have a Chahoua gecko, Avery, and I have a Leachianus gecko, Chaos. So I thought that this would be a really fun video just to kind of show you guys all of my geckos. It's been a while since some of you guys have seen all of them. Actually, I don't really think it's been that long, but either way, I'm going to be showing you all of my geckos and how I feed them, because who doesn't love a good feeding video? Animals are really cute when they eat. So that is what we're going to be doing today. So I guess that we can just go ahead and get right on into the video and start feeding some geckos. So we're going to start out by feeding all of my arboreal geckos, which includes my crested gecko, Dorito, who lives here, my gargoyle gecko, Derek, who lives here, and then my standing stay gecko, Mark, who lives in here. So you can see in these cages here, I have these little food ledges that house their food dishes. So I have one over there, and then there is one in here. Mark's food cup I always just place on this little ledge here rather than having like a dedicated ledge for his food. I just place it right on there and then he can eat it. And then in addition to those geckos, I also have my Chahoua gecko. He is a baby, so he is in this smaller enclosure. This is obviously a temporary one just so he can grow, and then he eventually will be getting a nice bioactive enclosure like these ones here. And then my Leachianus gecko is in here. He also has one of these food ledges you can see. This cage is also just a temporary cage while he is a baby. Can't really see him that closely, but he is just right up there. But he is also a fairly young gecko, so this is his temporary cage while he grows, and he will also eventually be getting a nice bioactive setup. This is fake plants right now, but he will be getting all live plants once he's in his adult cage. When it comes to my arboreal geckos, they do eat a variety of foods such as like these powder mixes and then also insects. So right now I'm going to be making up the powder mixes. So I have 5 cups over here. I have one for my crested gecko, gargoyle gecko, Leachianus gecko, day gecko, and then one for my Chahoua gecko because that one is a very tiny baby, so I just use a little bottle cap. So I'm going to be using a couple different ones of these today because some of my geckos do prefer different flavors over the other. Today I'm going to be using the watermelon and mango gecko food. I will also be using the banana and apricot gecko food, and then I will also be using the growth and breeding with insects. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take all of the cups out here, and then I will start making the food. So first I'm going to start with the growth and breeding food for my Chahoua gecko and my Leachianus gecko. So now I do want to point out I'm not a breeder or anything, but my Chahoua and my Leachianus gecko are babies. They are growing, and babies who are growing do require a decent amount of protein in their diet, and I find that the growth and breeding formula is good for that. It does make sure that they're getting the protein that they need. This isn't a food that I use every single time I feed them. Like I said, I do like to rotate all of my foods, but this is something that I will give them sometimes just to give them that extra boost of protein. Just put a little bit of this in a cup for my Leachianus gecko. And then I will also put a little bit in this cap for my Chahoua. So then we will move on to this watermelon and mango gecko food. So both my crested gecko and my day gecko really like this one, but my gargoyle gecko does not. So I'm only going to be putting this in 2 of the cups. So I'll put some for my crested gecko, and then some for my day gecko. And then we will move on to the banana and apricot food, which is what I'm going to be using for my gargoyle gecko because this is one flavor that he likes quite a bit. So there we go. And then in order to mix the foods up, I usually just take a little popsicle stick like this, and then I will get ready to mix them. So in order to prepare these foods, you basically just put the powder mix in the dish, and then you take some dechlorinated water, add it in, and then you will start mixing them up. So that's what I will be doing. Okay, so all of the food is mixed up now. For feeding, I'm going to go ahead and start with my Leachianus gecko just because I'm currently in the same room as him right now, and then we will head on into the reptile room and feed the other geckos. So here we have my Leachianus gecko, Chaos. When it comes to baby geckos, I often like to hand feed them to ensure that they're getting a decent meal, because obviously for babies especially, it's important that they're eating a good amount in order to get all the nutrients they need to grow. So I do like to hand feed my baby geckos, so I'm going to be hand feeding Chaos today. So when it comes to hand feeding my geckos, what I like to do is take a little bit of the food mix on a popsicle stick and then just sort of offer it to him. Chaos is a little bit picky to start eating, so what I normally have to do is put a little dab on his nose like that. Eventually he will start licking it off his nose, and then once he starts licking it off his nose, I will put the popsicle stick in front of him and he will eat it all. You're a little bit messy. You have a little bit of food all over your face. So now that Chaos has got a nice little hand-fed meal, I'm going to go ahead and let him back in his cage. And then I will take the rest of his Pangea cup and place it in his food ledge so that he can eat some as he pleases. Aside from Pangea, I also do feed him insects. I actually put some crickets in his cage earlier today, so I won't be doing any more now, but I do also feed insects. For today, I'm just showing the Pangea. So here is Dorito, my crested gecko, who is trying to run away. So I don't normally hand feed him. I usually just place his cup in the cage and then he eats it on his own, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to try and hand feed him a little bit just so that you guys can see it. So I'm going to take Dorito and just put his little food cup in. Okay, that works too. Do you want some food? Some yummy yummy food? No? Some Dorito. That's not how you eat. Love this. The quality content you guys came for. Yes, that is what you do with your food. Has no one ever told you not to play with your food? Let's try this again. Yum. Oh, okay. Dorito's clearly a big fan of hand feeding. Oh, he's licking it off his nose. Maybe the popsicle stick will work. Ew. He's just getting it all over his face on this side. So Dorito is clearly not a huge fan of hand feeding. He's a little bit restless. He just kind of wants to keep, wipe your mouth, please. He just wants to keep running away and jumping. So I'm going to go ahead and put him back. I don't want to like force him to hand feed if he doesn't like it, so Dorito, sir, you may return to your little cage. And then I will just place his food cup right in his ledge so that he can eat it when he wants to and when he's not just crawling away in his plant. Okay, so next we have Derek right here, and I will tell you for sure that we will not be hand feeding Derek today. Derek is not a huge fan of handling. He would definitely rather just be left alone. So I'm simply just going to be placing his food dish in his ledge. So Derek is getting the banana and apricot Pangea. I honestly don't even really know where Derek is at the moment. He is somewhere in here. This cage is very full of stuff, so it can be really hard to find him sometimes. We're just going to place his food cup in there, and since I don't really know where he is, I will insert some pictures of him so that you guys can see, but that's how I feed Derek. I just place his cup right in there. Now, what I said about Derek also sort of applies to Mark. I can't really handle my standing stay gecko. It's really not good for them, and they don't like it at all. They are very, very squirmy geckos. You can see him right back here. I don't want to disturb him too much because he will bolt if he feels the need to. But there's Mark back there. He did drop his tail recently. You can see it's growing back really well. But he is right there. There's Mark. Hello, Mark. How you doing? So I just go and I place his food cup right there, and then he will come and eat it when he pleases. We can get a little look at him from the side here too. The glare's really bad, but there's Mark. Hello, Mark. How you doing? There, so now all three geckos have been fed. Dorito has his food, Derek has his food, and Mark has his food. So lastly, we will move on to my Chahoua gecko. So there is my Chahoua right there. I just took this piece of cork out of the cage. You can see he's a very, very tiny gecko, which is why he's in the cage that he is in. If I go ahead and pick him up and place him on my thumb here, you can see kind of just how tiny he is. And he didn't want to be on my thumb. So since he is a little baby like my Leachy, I also like to hand feed him to make sure he gets a nice good meal. So again, I'm just going to take a little bit on a popsicle stick and sort of place it in front of him. He usually goes for it immediately, unlike, look at his little tongue going already. He eats really good off of the popsicle stick. He loves his food. Look how fast his little tongue is going. Oops, this is making a little bit of a drippy mess. I think there's probably more on my hand than he will have in his stomach. There, so he just got a nice little meal in him with hand feeding. Probably didn't look like he ate a ton, but I mean, given how tiny he is, he definitely ate a decent amount. And I will be putting the rest of his food in his cage for him also so that he can eat it as he pleases. There, so I just went ahead and placed his little food bowl down on the bottom there. He always finds it just fine. So it's a little bit hard to see with the glare on the glass, but here's my African fat-tailed gecko, Daisy. She's currently hiding under this piece of cork in her cage. I'll open it up so you can have a better look. This is what her cage looks like. This is the piece of cork that she's currently under right now. You can... Oh, is she trying to leave? Well, she's under there. Daisy's going to be the only gecko who you don't see being fed in this video. I apologize for that. I fed her last night and she does not eat every single day. That's too much for her. So I will not be feeding her today. I don't know why I didn't really think about that when I fed her last night, because I planned on making this video, so I definitely should have filmed it. My apologies. Hello, Daisy. You're looking cute as ever. There's Daisy. Anyway, she ate yesterday, so she will not be eating today, but when she does eat, she gets crickets. Those are her favorite. She's a very, very picky eater, so she doesn't like a lot of variety. Crickets are her favorite, so just imagine her eating a cricket. So this cage here belongs to Sushi, who's one of my leopard geckos. Today we are going to be feeding him some waxworms. So waxworms are one of those things that you only want to feed to your leopard. Oh my god, it's crawling on me. Leopard geckos are... Please don't feed leopard geckos to your leopard geckos. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, waxworms are one of those things that you only want to feed to leopard geckos kind of as a treat, because they do have a very high fat content. and they can even be addicting to some leopard geckos. Thankfully, mine don't have a problem with them. I'll give them waxworms as a treat, and then they'll go back to eating their normal foods just fine. But I figured for the video, I would give my geckos a nice little treat. So Sushi's going to be getting some waxworms today, and I am supplementing them with this Reptivite here. This is with D3. So Sushi is currently in his humid hide. You can see his tail there. So I'm just going to lift it up and then start feeding him the worms. He has such a high feeding response, so as soon as he sees them coming, he's going to go crazy for them. Hello, Sushi. I also want to point out how much he's grown. He's gotten so big. If you guys have seen my past videos on him, he was just a little tiny baby when I got him, and he's growing like crazy. He's 46 grams now. He is about 4.5 months old, so he's definitely going to be a big gecko. Ooh, yum. Isn't that good? Would you like another one? Oh, where are you running to? The food's over here. Run. This is entertaining. Attack. Haha. He's running. He's running. He's running. Oh, he's so fast. Oh, no, that is not what we want to happen. There you go. So down in here is my other leopard gecko, Pepper. She is currently hiding under her hammock behind her hide. You can see her giving us a little look. Hey, Pepper, you want to come out for some food? So Pepper here is actually well, she's not very old. She's older than Sushi, that's for sure. She is around 8 years old, and she has a much smaller appetite than Sushi does, so she's only going to be getting like 2 waxworms today. Again, I am giving them to her as a treat. These are definitely not a thing I feed them frequently. They're just a nice little treat food for them. So she's only probably going to get 2 of them, because that's really all she ever eats at a time, because she does have a much smaller appetite than Sushi, for example. So she will definitely be satisfied with like 2 waxworms. So I have her waxworms here coated with a vitamin powder. Now, normally I would recommend using tongs. She's pretty gentle, so I trust her to eat right from my fingers. So it looks like Pepper is just going to crawl back there again and enjoy her night. So all of the geckos have been fed now, although I do have one last thing to do, which is mist them down. Alright guys, so that was it for the video today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing all of my geckos. I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing how I feed them all. I just really hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and also be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content. I post videos like twice a week, so don't want to miss that. Also be sure to check out all of my social media. Everything is just EmmaSam99. It will all be in the description below, so be sure to check out all of that. I would appreciate it a lot. All of that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time.